Code Green pitched a shutout last Saturday as North Dakota State rolled past Missouri State to improve to 7-0 on the season. But today, the Dakota marker is on the line as the Bison take the field at the site of their last loss 2 years ago. The battle for the rock is coming up next.
Get your horns up! Tailgating in the parking lot. Now that clock is ticking down. The boys are ready to go. The energy in here's electric. Let's get on with the show. Get your horns up. The green and gold are back in town. Get your horns up. Pumped up and ready to throw down. Toss that coin up in the air. Bring the boys up to the line. Hold their horns up high because it's Bison time.
The 110th meeting all time between North Dakota State and South Dakota State. Right here on the KVLY KFYR Bison Television Network. Brian Shawn, Lee Timmerman, and Ryan Gellner are with you from Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings, South Dakota, the site of the last loss for North Dakota State back in November of 2017.
There's a lot to love about this rematch in this building, Brian. And yes, indeed, the two teams being as highly ranked, the potential playoff implications of today. We've waited a long time to get it kicked off, and now we just need to wait just a little bit longer. I mean, how can you not be excited and ready for this matchup today?
North Dakota State won the toss. The Bison deferred, so South Dakota State will have the football first. And North Dakota State on special teams has been very good in both kickoff and punt coverage today so far this year.
I always think one of the reasons you can tell how important this special teams is to NDSU is you look at some of the guys out there on the far right. Look at that. That's Jabril Cox right here. He's one of the best players in the nation at playing defense. But special teams is so important. He's out there using his athleticism on the kickoff team.
South Dakota State will have their big return man back, Cade Johnson, one of the most electric return guys you'll find in the FCS. Did not step into that role in the non-conference play, but once they got into Valley play once again, they threw number 15 back there because of what he can do in the return game.
Much of the same thing we just mentioned about Jabril Cox. Yeah, you use your top playmakers in your top games. And this is, make no mistake, the top game in the nation in FCS.
This is the first ever sellout of this stadium. Nearly 19,000 are here, and it all started early this morning with ESPN College Game Day for many, and it continues here into this afternoon with the kickoff between these two storied rivals. Garrett Wegner will get set to do the honors. It's a Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planting season with Peterson Farm Seed. Johnson retreats 7 yards deep. Maybe a little bit wind-aided on that kickoff for Wegner as we take a look at the North Dakota State defense sponsored by Shields.
Logan McCormick, Kimberly, Wisconsin.
Cole Karch, Germantown, Wisconsin.
Jack Darnell, Champlin, Minnesota.
Derek Teska, Warner, South Dakota.
Aaron Mercadale, Oakland, California.
Jackson Hankey, Park River, North Dakota.
Jabril Cox, Kansas City, Missouri.
Marquise Bridges, Minneapolis, Minnesota.
Michael Tetzi, Indianapolis, Indiana.
James Hendricks, Bemidji, Minnesota.
Josh Hayes, Lakeland, Florida.
Jabore Gibbs in the shotgun. Mikey Daniel, the tailback here on first down, and it's quarterback run for Gibbs, and he's got room. Gibbs still in bounds and finally stepped out after a first down run at the 36-yard line, and a flag comes out at the end. Two flags come out.
Jabore Gibbs had a 63-yard touchdown run this year, and usually it's been with the lead fullback block. This time all by himself. Let's see what's happening on the end of this. Gibbs starts to turn it up. He's already stepped out, and then there's the hit from Hankey, and there's the extra 15 yards. So
the call will go on Hankey, and that will add 15 to the run and put the Jacks inside Bison territory at the 49-yard line.
I mean, Hankey's trying to get over there as fast as he can. What he doesn't know and he can't see is that Gibbs had already stepped out at that point, and then Jabori was still trying to get upfield.
Callan Hart, the tight end, motioning out now as Gibbs will look to throw. Time airing it out. Johnson! Did he get it?
Yep.
Yes! Caught inside the 20-yard line at the 15.
He is not the best receiver by accident, folks. He has had he had a beautiful earlier this season one-handed catch. Here's your Nodak Insurance Company replay. Gibbs is throwing it up there, allowing his receiver to make a play on the other end of it, and he does as he gets back between the two safeties, or past the two safeties.
So 2 quick plays, and the Jackrabbits all the way down to the 15 of NDSU. Gibbs looking to run again. This time the Bison swarm him under after a gain of 2 at the 13-yard line. Aaron Mercadale coming in there to finish him up. Jack Darnell also plugging things up in the middle. There's a look at Gibbs, redshirt freshman out of Chicago, Illinois. Those numbers sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. Has done a nice job running this offense. Not super consistent so far, but this guy has some big play potential.
Yeah, when he, like all quarterbacks, when his feet aren't set, he's been real inaccurate. So the Bison will try to see if they can get him off his throwing spot.
Pierre Strong, his first carry, tries cutting it back, and he is taken down at the 11 after a pickup of a couple of more.
Looked like Logan McCormick did a good job spilling down the line to make the play.
Here's a look at the Shield starting lineup for South Dakota State. We talked about Gibbs. Pierre Strong, very talented.
That's the defense for the Jacks.
So 3rd down and about 6. On the season, 41% on 3rd down are the Jackrabbits, which is the 39th best in the FCS. The Bison, very good on 3rd down so far this season, 28%. Gibbs, reading, firing, drops in the flat. Man was open out there, but Cal Hart unable to make the catch, and that'll bring up 4th down.
The one thing that this Jackrabbit team does not have, obviously you don't have anybody good as Dallas Goddard, but they do not have anyone on the roster right now that is dynamic enough in that tight end position. They used Johnson to clear out. They took the safety into the end zone, tried to hit him up underneath. If Hart grabs onto it, he might have the first.
29-yard field goal attempts for Chase Vinatieri.
Believe it or not, this has been his issue. Kicks of this length this year. He's been struggling.
Yeah, he points went off the upright from 22 last week at Indiana State, just 4 of 8 in the season. This one is straight through, and South Dakota State grabs the lead on 2 explosive plays. A run from Gibbs, a personal foul, and then a 34-yard catch from Cade Johnson.
But when it mattered most, the Bison came up in the run game and had 2 stops on 1st and 2nd down. The run to Strong, or the quarterback run, and then the handoff to Strong. Those 2 plays forced 3rd and long and incomplete, and the Bison only give up 3. So if you're only giving up 3 inside that position on the field, the Bison will take it all day long.
The Bison defense will get to the sideline and try to regroup. And the Bison offense will take the field for the first time. Let's take a look at the scoring drive on the Bobcats scoring recap. We'll take a look at that in just a moment. 64 yards on that scoring drive for South Dakota State. And just 2:21. And there is a pretty stiff breeze here, LT. Maybe 10 to 15 miles an hour, but it's gusting up to 20, so it can affect the kicking game here today.
That's why I thought the first opening kickoff for the NDSU was so impressive, to get it that deep into the end zone, into the wind. Now Vinatieri will have some wind behind him because it's coming from the south. So as you're looking at it, the wind is left to right.
Vinatieri will boot it. Plenty of leg. And this should drive out of the back of the end zone, and it does. And North Dakota State will start on the 25-yard line. Let's take a look at the North Dakota State offense, sponsored by Shields.
Trey Lance, Marshall, Minnesota.
Dylan Radens, Becker, Minnesota.
Nash Jensen, Osceola, Minnesota.
Carson Tuning, Raleigh, North Dakota.
Zach Johnson, Spring Lake Park, Minnesota.
Cordell Volson, Belfour, North Dakota.
Ben Ellison, Pauley, Minnesota.
Garrett Malmstrom, Burgess, Minnesota.
Ty Brooks, Fargo, North Dakota.
Christian Watson, Tampa, Florida.
Phoenix Sproles, New Hope, Minnesota.
And Garrett Malmstrom, a guy we're not sure if he's going to say. He did warm up today, but has been out with a knee injury as Trey Lance breaks through the line. And he can run the football as well. And a pickup of 11 to the 37-yard line. And Lance, one of the more dynamic men you'll find in the FCS, just a redshirt freshman as well. Here's the numbers, sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. And that number by interceptions may be the most impressive, LT.
Yeah, that, and you also don't see the rushing numbers. Trey Lance is the leading rusher for this Bison team today, and you can see early on how much quarterback run is going to play into the thought process of both coordinators calling plays today, that +1 running game.
This time to give inside, and there is room to maneuver, and a good pickup on first down, all the way up to the 44-yard line. Gain of 7. The Bison certainly want to establish that middle, and we'll see a bevy of running backs today, and Ty Brooks gets the first carry.
Inside zone, probably more than your traditional power against this Jackrabbit defensive line. It's not a defensive line that wants to get upfield, really push upfield like you and I would. It's a defensive line that wants to engage the offensive line and try to keep their linebackers clean. Zone typically better than power.
3 receivers in the formation here on 2nd and 3. Lance play action. He's going to air it out for Ellison. And Ben could not come down with it at the 30-yard line. No flag. Seven Wilson was in on the coverage for South Dakota State. Maybe a little bit underthrown.
Little bit underthrown. That's thrown into the wind again. Ellison certainly had the distance on it. Nodak Insurance Company replay. And the name that you said too, 7, that is his first name, who wears number 7. Not in the game last week for the Jackrabbits, but back on the field this week, one of the starting linebackers on a very good linebacker core.
How about this formation? Now NDSU will motion out of it. 3 tight ends here on 2nd and 3. Inside give, and Dimitri Williams has a first down to midfield. Good tough running between the tackles again as the Bison move the sticks. Starting lineup, South Dakota State, sponsored by Shields. Roseman, we talked about him, over 400 career tackles. Michael Griffin Jr. is an interesting story. Transferred up from Division II Southwest Minnesota State, and you will see a bunch of different guys up front of the defensive line, but Xavier Ward may be the best.
I think Logan Backus is overlooked on what he brings to this defense as well. We talk about Roseman all the time, but Backus is a stud as a linebacker as well.
Lance dropping it off, and it is caught. Noah Gindorf took a pretty good shot at the end from Don Gardner, and there is a flag back at the 50, and they may get an illegal formation for 5 in the backfield. Not sure everybody was on the line that needed to be. David Siegel is your official from the Missouri Valley today on this crew. Oh, and they pick up the flag, so apparently everybody did get on the line that was supposed to. And it is a pickup of 4 to the 46.
But the Bison got Noah Gindorf head up against 7, the linebacker there, 7 Wilson. A little out and a plus gain on first down.
That is the first catch for Noah Gindorf. That was not a touchdown. His 6th reception of the season. Watson in motion. Lance is going to keep it. Taken down by Ogrunde, one of those defensive ends, and they will rotate a lot. But Lance able to pick up 4 down to the 42, and that'll bring up 3rd and short.
Ogrunde is a kid that came into this program as a running back. He was a fullback, and they couldn't get him on the field enough to use his athleticism. Said, hey, son, you're now a defensive lineman, and he's got 2 sacks already, and then forces the 3rd and short. But the Bison so far on schedule. This is what NDSU wants. They want 3rd down and short. Not what we saw last week against Missouri State with all those 3rd and longs.
Lance, some last-second instructions to the offensive line. Lance is going to run it, and a flag comes out before the snap. And I think it might be a false start on somebody for NDSU moving early.
Nash Jensen was the puller. I don't know if he was the one that came out of his stance a hair early, but I think so.
So that will bring up now a 3rd and 7.
So just reverse what I talked about before the snap. This is not what the Bison want. 3rd and 7+ or 6+. This place is loud.
Is it really
it's
loud
awesome
today? Jack's coming. Lance firing. Sproles makes the catch at the 31 and fighting for yardage. Finally wrestled to the ground at the 23, and a flag comes in at the end. Boy, what a throw by Trey Lance with pressure right in his face.
It was beautiful because where did that pressure come from? It came from the safety. It was Griffin who came on a safety blitz, and he waited until the place that Griffin vacated became open on the little post in the middle, and then hit Sproles.
After the play, personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense number 17. Penalty is half the distance to the goal, automatic, first down.
Okay, we're looking for Diamond Evans, number 17, at the tail end of this on your Nodak Insurance Company replay. Gardner making the tackle, and then they'll pile it on. He's lucky he didn't hit him with his helmet, because otherwise that might have been a target.
And Diamond Evans did not play last week against Indiana State. Just a true freshman out of Chicago. 1st and 10 from the 12. Lance is going to run again. Not much room this time, taken down at the 10 by a host of Jackrabbit tacklers. Reese Winkleman, his former teammate at Marshall High School, was one of the Jackrabbits in to come in to make that stop.
That's right, Winkleman, number 97, a sophomore. And he went with and against Lance a lot, I would guess, when they were at Marshall. But Winkleman, he's really emerged, if you will, as the best edge pass rusher, I think. I know that Ryan Arith is a kid on the defensive line who gets a lot of talk from the outside, but Winkleman, in his speed rush, has really gotten to be a solid contributor.
Little reverse. Lance is a lead blocker. Now he's going to throw it. Caught! Touchdown!
Flag. There was some contact downfield, and I think it's offensive pass interference. I think the 6 points comes off, Brian. We'll have to wait and see. But I thought there was contact.
Pass interference, offense, number 82. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat. 2nd down.
Christian Watson becomes a passer, and the contact was before this. Remember where we still can't see it, but it is. But the flag on Elfson happened before he and/or the ball got into the end zone.
So now all of a sudden, a 2nd and 8 from the 10 is a 2nd and real long from the 25. Lance is going to run again. Not much room. Jackrabbits all over it. Don Gardner, the first man there for South Dakota State. No gain will bring up 3rd and long. Lance maybe even lost a yard.
When Lance pulls that ball, you're assuming that the Bison will have numbers. They really didn't. Gardner wasn't fooled. He kept his edge from his cornerback position. Jackrabbits had it very well defended.
We'll see what NDSU offensive coordinator Tyler Roll dials up here on 3rd and long. Lance, he's going to the end zone. And out of the back of the end zone, well covered, Phoenix Sproles with the intended target. And there was a man from South Dakota State that hit the wall at the end of that play. And he's still down. Is it Diamond Evans, I believe?
I think it is Evans. He's up now and coming back onto the field to play. Boy, the respect that the Jackrabbits showed Noah Gindorf on that play. He was the lone receiver on the Jack side of the sideline, and they kept the safety over him, and now Evans goes down and will get looked at.
North Dakota State was lining up like they were going to go for it here on 4th and long as they tend to Diamond Evans.
But on that play where he meaning Lance went into the end zone, I don't think Trey had much of a choice, because when he saw a safety over your lone receiver, the tight end Gindorf, who has the 5 touchdown passes already, that play's not going to work, so he's going to have to go to the wide side of the field. Punt doesn't do you much good. Field goal into a strong wind is going to be a 46-yarder. And now the Bison take a timeout.
It looked like Wegner was getting set to come on here. That's just that tricky part of the field, and that penalty looming so large here for North Dakota State. Took a touchdown off the board.
Hey, snap now. What are you looking at? A 40?
Well, Griffin Crose
44.
Griffin Crose is coming out, and they may attempt this. He'll spot it up from 44 right hash. Yeah. His career-long 46, which was a doinker off the crossbar at Delaware. Down. Doesn't have the leg. No. And the Bison come up empty. We step aside, 3-0, 7.5 left here in the first quarter. Jackrabbits lead it in the 110th marker game between the Jacks and Bison on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. Well, South Dakota State, while we were away, they came back a little bit early on us. A pass completion to Cade Johnson on a simple out.
Yeah, it's going to come and bite at you, but the move after the catch, right there, the sidestep, Marquise Bridges, and then get upfield. Another fairly explosive play there from this Jackrabbit offense from a guy who does it a lot, number 15.
Gibbs to throw again, hanging in, down the seam, just out of the reach of his intended target, and that is Yankee, redshirt freshman, Jackson Yankee, out of just down the road here in South Dakota and Madison.
Well, the safety has to honor the cross because Johnson is the crosser, so that will bring Tutsi and Hendricks both a little bit closer to the field because Johnson, if you remember some plays, he runs long crosses, affects the safety, no safety help over tops. That's where Gibbs went with the ball.
Into the backfield here on 2nd and 10. He's going to get the carry. And a good pickup. 6 yards to the 45 of NDSU will bring up 3rd and 4. Gate City Bank is proud to support the NDSU Bison. Show your Bison pride today with a free NDSU Gate City Bank debit card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC.
So far, what I thought was the weak link of this Jackrabbit offense is playing pretty well. That's SDSU's offensive line.
Gibbs, silent count, across the middle. Yankee makes the catch. Taken down immediately by Josh Hayes, but enough for a first down to the 38.
Yankee's been more of a kid they just throw jump balls to, but there it was definitely a designed run on a quick little slant.
The SDSU offense, sponsored by Shields. Clark's a guy that's been out of football for almost 2 years, came back and they really needed him. Talked about Yankee. Adam Anderson, also another popular target for Jabore Gibbs in this offense. Strong. Boy, able to make something out of nothing. Looked like he's going to be caught in the backfield. Still able to gain 4 to the 34. And that's the one thing about this young man. Really good feet and a patient runner.
Yeah. One more point on Clark before we move on from the center. He was the starting guard a couple of years ago. And when you say they needed him, they needed somebody to come up and be the center. They welcomed him back to the program, got his act together, I guess you would say, and then earned his job as the starting center. But you're right. The one thing, if you're a running back for this Jackrabbit team, you need patience. You need to be a patient runner because a lot of zone type blocking.
Gibbs, time in the pocket again. I might take off and run with it, and he's tripped up by Aaron Mercadel at the 36 for a loss of 2. Let's pause now for a quick message from Tobolt Seed.
Tobolt Seed, family owned and operated for over 90 years. How do you stay in business that long? Hard work and integrity. Tobolt Seed offers Thunder Seed Enlist soybeans, Roundup Ready to Extend soybeans, Liberty Link GT27 soybeans, and Thunder Seed corn.
And Gibbs still down on the turf here after he was tripped up. Not sure if it was an ankle.
Or looking at maybe his right knee. They're putting his right knee through the process right now.
And the backup quarterback is Cannon Nelson, a junior. He did start 2 games earlier this year when Gibbs missed time because of a finger injury. Let's take another look.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. He steps through that contact from Mercadal. I don't know, maybe the foot was still kind of in the turf when he tried to jump through that. John Stiglmeyer in his 23rd year as the head coach.
We'll step aside and be back as they look at Gibbs after this. Cannon Nelson came into the game and he ran for a first down to the 23-yard line on 3rd and 7. They're still looking at Gibbs over on the sideline as he hobbled off when we were away from break.
Obviously nothing more than the quarterback run. He puts his shoulders down and then he actually runs through a couple of people. He's a junior from Mitchell, South Dakota, was the backup to Taryn Christian as well. Brian mentioned he has played this year and he has thrown 3 touchdown passes so far.
Nelson from Mitchell, South Dakota. Room to run for Pierre Strong. Still on his feet. Finally game tackled at the 10-yard line. And the Bison are having a tough time right now maintaining the line of scrimmage. First and goal.
Real good offensive line movement to the right, bringing a little bit of a counter. And now tempo here from the Jackrabbits.
They give it to Strong again. And it's Spencer Ouija, the Watertown, South Dakota native, making the tackle for a loss of 1.
Well, it's obvious with these defensive ends. If you're the backside defensive end today, your job is to run them down. You're going to see Spencer Ouija on this Nodak Insurance Company replay come flying in there to get to the backside to help Mercadal on the front side. One of the kids really looking forward to this game, Spencer Ouija, because, as you mentioned, Brian, doesn't live far from here.
Nelson, design run. Tutsi running him down at the 8-yard line. Gain of 3 will bring up 3rd and goal.
When he first took off, it looked like there could be maybe more yards to be had than he did, but he bellies it outside when the 2 safeties. Well, I don't know if Kaiser's probably playing linebacker here, but Kaiser from the inside, Tutsi from running downhill to get to that quarterback.
2.5 left here in the first quarter. There's a look at Tutsi.
Second leading tackler for the Bison.
Johnson, the motion man, in the slot. Nelson under pressure, threw it in the flat, threw it away.
Who was he throwing it to? There was nobody there.
Derek Tusko was the one applying the pressure. No flag comes out. Now they're going to talk about it.
This is a flag. There is nobody near. That was the tackle. There wasn't anybody close. They're going to say he's out of the box. Okay.
Down. Don't you still have to get it back to the line of scrimmage? Is that not?
Well, in theory, yes. Far enough outside, I guess.
Well, that keeps it a much more makeable field goal, too, for Vinatieri here, moving it back to the 8-yard line. And this is a guy that has run some fakes before, too. So if you're North Dakota State, you got to stay on your toes. He just connected 29 earlier in this quarter. Snap is down, booted, splits the uprights again, and the Jacks extend their lead to 6-0. We step aside, 2:11 to go in the first quarter. Jackrabbits lead at 6-0 on the Ag Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard. 6-0 South Dakota State. 2:11 left in the first quarter. And handling the kickoff duties this time around will be Cole Fromm, a sophomore out of Omaha. Another deep boot. Brooks wants to bring it out. Brooks hammered at the 10-yard line, and a big hit on that play by Levi Brown, a sophomore linebacker out of Roseville, Minnesota.
And Levi Brown getting a lot of reps at linebacker the last couple of games, with Sevin Wilson not being able to play last week. That seemed like one of those things where Ty just wanted so much to make a big play. And the timing of that kickoff return seemed a little messed up.
Lance out of the shotgun. Is set up, fires, and it's caught by Cofield. Not much of a gain, maybe a yard, and that's about it. Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Well, Matt Entz's defense has bent a couple of times, but they have not broken. Just 6-0 Jackrabbits after 2 red zone possessions. Watson's going to get the carry this time. Tripped up at the 16-yard line, and boy, did that save some extra yardage as Roseboom came up just to get enough of Watson to trip him up.
Well, his game is speed. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Christian Watson, if he can get past Roseboom, Brian, you're right. He's got some room and some blockers, but Roseboom's able to just barely use enough angle to get to Watson and make it third.
3rd and 5. Boy, crowd is really coming to life. Lance didn't get there. Jackrabbits stacked him up. 3 yards short at the 18. And a 3 and out for North Dakota State. And Krolikowski, a guy that had a huge game last year in Fargo. 7 tackles and a sack and a half.
He's still not 100% though, because he also got injured last year and is still making the comeback. So you're right. Crockett Krolikowski, the sophomore from Winter, South Dakota.
Garrett Wegner on for his first punt of the day. As we're under 20 seconds to go, and Wegner will send this one down. Pretty good job to the 35-yard line, and Yankee makes the catch and then taken out of bounds by Jackson Brown at the 42-yard line.
It has to take a really... Go ahead, Brad.
Time now for the Gate City Bank fan cam. Send us your Homer Watch Party picks to Fan Cam Your Cam, and we'll show them in the 4th quarter. That is Fan Cam Your Cam, and we will show those pictures in the 4th quarter. Brought to you by Gate City Bank.
My point on punts, Yankee will hardly ever fair catch it. He is a guy that will take chances to try to return that ball on a punt.
Good field position here for the Jacks from their own 42-yard line. Nelson remains in the game as Jabari Gibbs went to the locker room when we were away. Nelson, plenty of time again, firing down the seam high and over his intended target, Blake Coons, the backup tight end.
Nelson's first look was to his left. He wanted Yankee. Yankee was covered, so he makes his next check, and he sees the seam was a little bit opened and airmailed it because the receiver was there, but he just overthrew him. But Destin Talbert was one-on-one to the near side with Yankee, and that's where he wanted to go with the ball, and Talbert had him covered.
North Dakota State has not really been able to apply a lot of pressure yet to the quarterbacks for South Dakota State. Strong into the backfield. Nelson trying to set up a screen, and NDSU all over it, incomplete. Jabril Cox was there. Logan McCormick was there.
That's quarter.
And that'll take us to the end of the first quarter. 3rd and 10 for South Dakota State when we come back. SDSU, a strong start here at home, but it's just a 6-0 game after the first 15 minutes. 6-0 North Dakota State as we get set for the start of the second quarter. 3rd and 10 for the Jackrabbits from their own 42-yard line. We should mention that former North Dakota State head coach Chris Kleiman's Kansas State Wildcats has pulled off a shocker today in Manhattan, knocking off the number 5 team in the nation, Oklahoma, 48-41. So congratulations to Coach Kleiman, Coach Riley, Coach Klannerman, Coach Ray, some of the guys that spent some time here on the staff at NDSU.
Here's the first time that you're going to see Tutsi on the inside trying to go head up against the center. First time not in the red zone with an obvious 3rd and long passing situation. So the Bison showing 3. So basically defensive ends, if you want to call Karch that, because that's what he came here with.
We have not seen Derek Tuska play inside very much.
I think 1 snap this year he's done it once. But Tuska on Clark.
The Bison drop 8 guys into coverage here on 3rd and 10. Quick throw out to Johnson. Trying to work off some blocks downfield, but the Bison quick pursuit. First hit by Marquise Bridges, finished off by Jabril Cox. Gain of 4, well short of the first down.
Yeah, that's a defense that there's no way that South Dakota State, let alone your backup quarterback, has seen, because your middle linebacker, Hankey, started about 12 yards deep. Little swing to the outside. Talbert takes 2. That leaves Bridges open. And I thought that might be called just, he was there, meaning Cox just a hair late. If the refs would have thrown a flag, I don't know if I'd argued with him.
Bison forcing the first punt of the day by Ben Dinkle, a sophomore out of Kearney, Nebraska. High. Bounces at the 6-yard line and down at the 11. So North Dakota State has not had very good field position here to start today, and they will start backed up this time as well. In that first quarter, South Dakota State 121 total yards of offense. North Dakota State just 65.
And only 5 more plays run by the Jackrabbits in that first quarter as well. So much more success on the offensive side.
Trey Lance, 3 of 5, 29 yards here so far today. Power play up the middle. Jackrabbits have a whole bunch of tacklers in there. Backus, along with Griffin and Rosenbaum. A gain of 3.
That guy right there is simply one of the best defensive players in the FCS. He means so much to this Jackrabbit approach, kind of like Jabril Cox does to NDSU.
He's approaching the all-time mark for South Dakota State in career tackles. Came in with 417 of them. Lance throwing, stepping out of trouble. Now he's going to take off and run. Finally wrestled down at the 19-yard line, 2 yards short of the first down. Good pursuit that time by Caleb Sanders. Big defensive tackle came back to make the stop.
Yeah, Sanders washed upfield, and then the last juke here from Lance allows him, 99, to kind of help run him down and make this tackle. Of course, Lance doesn't know that the big man's coming from behind him. He's trying to get one more foot in the turf to slide back upfield and get the first down, but he got close to it.
3rd and 2 for North Dakota State from the 19. Brooks has room up the middle, putting his shoulder down. And North Dakota State that time got some good push up the middle, created a nice crease. And a gain of close to 10 there on 3rd down, up to the 29.
Simply the best job from the offensive line in the run game so far today. Look at Carson Schoening sealing off the downfield push there from 67, Cordell Volson. This Bison offensive line, easily the most physical offensive line, including the Gophers that the Jacks have faced this year. NDSU wants more of what it just had.
Gindorf and Ellison, the 2 tight ends. And a flag comes out.
Encroachment, offense, number 11, lined up in the neutral zone. 5-yard penalty, first down.
So Phoenix Bros lined up in the neutral zone. And that'll be the 4th penalty on North Dakota State now for 40 yards here in the first half. The Jackrabbits just 1 penalty for 11. And that was that late hit.
Well, a lot of times the side judge will help a receiver out a little bit. Receiver will point down, meaning I'm on or I'm off being covered. That time, I guess he was just lined up too far over the line of scrimmage. Now he's asking again.
Handoff inside of Dimitri Williams, picking his way and gaining about 3. And that'll bring up 2nd and 12. Logan Backus, one thing Tyler Rowland mentioned about him to us, he's such a long player. Not the biggest guy, just 205 pounds, but very rangy, long arms.
I think he's a little bit underrated because he plays a lot in the shadow of number 2, and he plays very, very well. He was a tremendous offensive player in high school.
Babbage into the backfield. Play action. Lance firing on the comeback, and it's broken up by Diamond Evans. Pretty good coverage that time on Phoenix Sproles to bring up 3rd and long.
Brian, you mentioned that Evans did not play last week, and he's back in it now. He is the best cover corner, even though he's just a freshman.
Experience a better home loan with Gate City Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank provides locally approved financed and serviced home loans. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
When the Bison had defense on the 3rd and long, they went max coverage. Let's see what the Jacks do here on 3rd and long if they'll bring pressure.
Play clock at 3. Lance has some time to survey. Now firing, and there's a man open. It's Kapuris at the 45. And a big conversion on 3rd down, and flags come in at the end, I think.
You're right, Brian. There's a flag right in front of the Bison sideline. Interesting pre-snap look and then post-snap movement from the Jackrabbits on that play. They showed blitz, dropped out of it into max coverage.
After the play, personal foul, laid it out of bounds. Defense number 7, 15-yard penalty, automatic, 1st down.
So that'll move the ball inside Jackrabbit territory down to the 40-yard line. Boy, a big pickup on 3rd down. Let's go to Ryan Gellner for an update on Jabari Gibbs.
Hey guys, it's the First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Jabari Gibbs, the quarterback for South Dakota State, as you mentioned, Brian, made his way to the locker room, but he could not put any pressure on his right knee. He remains in the locker room, has been there since late in the 1st quarter. When he emerges, we'll have an update, but it does not look good for the quarterback at South Dakota State.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. Lance trying to pick up what he can. Another flag comes in.
This will be a blocking infraction of some sort, I think.
Pickup of 1, but we'll check the flag here. And yeah, they're going to back up the Bison. Looks like it'll cost them 10.
Holding, offense, number 67. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat, 1st down.
We're going Cordell Volson.
There's Volson on the top side, making a reach. If the infraction happened, it happened before that point.
5th penalty on North Dakota State here in the 1st half. Dimitri Williams gets the given room to run, and Williams tripped up after a gain of 15 yards down to the 35-yard line, and that play call looked like it might have caught the Jackrabbits off guard a little bit.
It certainly did. Michael Griffin had to go from the wide side of the field to make this play. Good downfield blocking, a little speed here from Williams. From your right, as you watch that, he was the field safety coming to the boundary side.
Boy, and that tackle from Manchagai, I believe, was the one that came in and maybe saved a whole chunk more yardage. 2nd and 5. Lance is going to keep it this time. Working out of 1 block, staying on his feet, and he's got a 1st down to the 28-yard line. Good nifty running there for the redshirt freshman out of Marshall.
I believe he was reading his old teammate on that play. This is a quarterback read. He rides the running back. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Look at him. He's looking at number 97. That's Winkleman. Winkleman goes to the running back. That means it's an easy read pull for the quarterback. And Lance picks up a first down. Well, the Bison were what, one and first and 20 there. It only took them 2 plays to get it.
Play action.
Throwback.
Lance sprawls in the end zone. It is tipped away. Ball just hung up a little bit too long as Sproles was trying to get away from Diamond Evans. And the freshman out of Chicago made the play on the football.
Takes a long time and a strong arm to try to make this play. Make the throw. Rolling to the left, throwing back to the quarterback's right. Almost got there.
Lance is going to keep it again. Stays on his feet, puts his head down. Gains 5, maybe 6 yards to the 23-yard line. Let's pause for a quick message from Shields.
Hey Bison fans, this is NDSU head coach Matt Entz. Get your favorite Bison gear at Shields. From hats, jerseys, hoodies, they've got the best selection of NDSU gear. And don't forget to check out the exclusive sideline apparel worn by our coaches. Thank you for your support and go Bison.
3rd and 4 from the South Dakota State 23. Kapuris gets the carry. Around the end, Kapuris has room to the 10. Finally taken out of bounds by Gardner at the 4-yard line. And North Dakota State converts another big 3rd down.
First, the previous couple of plays, the Bison really had success inside. You see the pull here from Johnson and the seal. And then Kapuris is able to get up the seam and a good stock block downfield by Cole Jacob to get a couple of extra yards and get NDSU inside the 5. But this has been a very physical drive for the guys up front, looking good for NDSU.
Lance out of the shotgun. Bolson jumping early. That is the 6th penalty on NDSU.
Yep, jump the snap count.
Offense, number 67. 5-yard penalty. First down.
He's trying to get across the face of the defensive lineman. And you might have saw Zach Johnson just try to give the cool down a little bit there. Volson, this Cordell.
It's now 1st and goal from about the 8.5-yard line. See the penalties mounting. Lance is going to keep to the 5. Lance pushed out of bounds at the 4-yard line. Rosenboom finished him off. Sevin Wilson was the man that got him over towards the sideline, and that'll bring up 2nd and goal.
The Jackrabbits do an interesting thing with their linebackers. They generally don't go to first flow. Nodak Insurance Company replay. See how 7? He's not moving. Or Rosenboom, they're not moving at the snap. They're allowed to take 1 extra second as he gets a little extra pop toward the end of that one. But these Jackrabbit linebackers have the luxury of making an extra read before they move.
13th play of the drive. Lance under pressure. Down he goes back at the 10, and Spencer Hildahl with the sack.
It's going to come right up the gut. Working a little X. Hildahl, you saw cross behind the man in front who was engaged with Carson Schuning. And that little lineman stunt leads to the 2nd sack of the season for Hildahl.
Dimitri Williams, the tailback. Lance flushed, dropping it off. Babbage made the catch and taken down at the 3-yard line. Matt Entz will run the field goal unit on. This will be a 22-yard attempt, pretty much the equivalent of an extra point.
The only difference, the angle.
Yep. It's down, it is up, and Prosa connects. And the Bison are on the board with 5:53 to go. Here in the second quarter, a meat grinder of a drive. And we step aside. 6-3, South Dakota State leads it. Time now for the Gate City Bank Fan Cam. Send us your home or watch party pics to Fan Cam Your Cam, and we'll show them in the fourth quarter. Pretty good contingent of North Dakota State fans here making the trip down.
No surprise.
1st and 10 for the Jacks from the 25. Strong. Able to sneak out of a couple of tackles and gain 4 yards, close to 5 before he is finally wrapped up.
Cole Karch, one of the guys in on the tackle. Cole, the senior from Germantown, Wisconsin.
Jabari Gibbs remains in the locker room. So Cannon Nelson, the starting quarterback right now for the Jacks. Nelson on a little reverse. Johnson got around the edge, has some room, and taken down at the 46-yard line by Josh Hayes. And they continue to move Cade Johnson around all over the place. And a few different explosive plays already for him in this ball game today.
Well, when Gibbs had the 63-yard touchdown run against Youngstown, it was Luke Sellers who led the way. And here was number 36, Luke Sellers, getting a couple of blocks out on the edge that allows Johnson to get it all the way up to the 46-yard line.
Nelson's going to run it again. Bison trying to stack him up, still able to plow ahead for a couple. Spencer Wagee in there along with Hankey, among others.
Well, for both teams, quarterback run was such a big part of the playbook today, and it doesn't matter that you've already been and gone one quarterback down. You're going to continue with quarterback run.
C.J. Wilson in the game at tailback. Does not have a carry yet today. Cal Hart will flex out now to the high side of your screen, low side of your screen. Wilson gets the carry. Taken down at the 50. Gain of a couple more.
Hankey stepping up. You have to stay square to this kid because his feet move a lot. He'll juke and jive. He's a much different type of running back than Pierre Strong is. Strong's a one-cut downhill type of guy. Wilson's the type of kid that I've had described to me can run 50 yards and gain 1. But he also makes him elusive. Jackson stayed squared, only gained him a couple.
South Dakota State 2 of 5 on 3rd down. This will be a 3rd and 6. Across the middle, Johnson makes the catch. Got a jam there from Jabril Cox off the line, but still able to get into his route and make the reception down to the 41.
That was the impressive part. Nodak Insurance Company replay. It'll be off to your right when the play comes in. You're right. Number 42 got right in the grill of Johnson, gave him a really good chuck, but still not enough to get his feet unsettled to slow his release off the line. That was well done by number 15.
First carry, normally known as a short yardage back, but a gain of 10 yards to the 32, and that will move the sticks again.
See where the hole comes, the hand to Daniel. And I think it was Karch that got turned just enough to miss the fit. If you can swing the shoulders of the defensive lineman, if you're the offensive lineman, and open up that seam, you did your job.
Nelson to throw this time. Stepping into it. Across the middle for Hart. Over his head again. James Hendricks was there in coverage, but there was certainly room to fit that football in. We'll bring up 2nd and 10.
Both targets to the tight end have been high.
Gate City Bank is proud to support the NDSU Bison. Show your Bison pride today with a free NDSU Gate City Bank debit card. Visit gatecity.bank/mycard. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC. South Dakota State has kept NDSU off balance today.
Kaiser in at linebacker based on personnel.
Strong. Tough running again. Gain 7 will bring up 3rd and 3 from the 25.
But that was Strong that broke free from Kaiser and gained another couple, 3 or 4 yards.
This will be the 9th play of the drive for South Dakota State, as we're under 2 minutes to go here until halftime.
And now after the Jacks bring their guys in, here comes Mercadal. Kaiser comes back off, and the Bison have their switch. Merck right there, number 55.
John Sigelmeyer runs out in the field and calls for a timeout with 1:27 to go.
Charge timeout. South Dakota State, their first of the half. This will be a full timeout.
We step aside, 6-3. South Dakota State driving inside Bison territory. Big 3rd and 4 when we come back. Big 3rd and 3 for South Dakota State from the NDSU 25-yard line. Nelson has only completed a couple of passes, but a nice job of running the offense. A lot of misdirection. Johnson in motion. Daniel moving ahead, diving to the 21, and that'll be enough for a first down.
A lot of pre-snap movement for South Dakota State before it, thinking that they're going to set up something to the field. You see Johnson go flying by. It's a straight handoff right up the middle. I tell you, that interior of the South Dakota State offensive line is playing very well so far today.
And off to the outside, the Bison give up nothing that time. No gain to the 20. Pierre Strong with his 8th carry, now 37 yards.
Costner Ching, speaking of guys who didn't grow up far from here.
Yeah, Castlewood, only about 40 miles to the north. His father played here. Jeff was a middle linebacker.
He was just trying to get your number. He wrapped you up.
And we're under 40 seconds to go. See if the Jackrabbits take a shot at the end zone here.
Movement, right tackle. Johnson, speaking of players who have dads that played here, his did as well. 71, Aaron Johnson on the move.
And that'll back up the Jacks to the 25-yard line now.
False start. Offense, number 71. 5-yard penalty. 2nd down. South Dakota State has elected to take a timeout to avoid a 10-second runoff. This is their 2nd of the half. A 30-second timeout.
So because the clock was running and it was a pre-snap penalty, the Jackrabbits have to burn a timeout here so they don't have to give up 10 seconds.
Yeah, you don't want to give up the 10 seconds when it's only 2nd down.
For South Dakota State here, what do you do, LT? How aggressive do you get?
It's a field goal back end. Even though it does appear like the wind has gone down a little bit, I don't think it'd be opposed to a running play. But if you run it, you should have the 2 plays called.
There's a look at Jason Eck, who's taken over as the offensive coordinator after spending the last few years as the offensive line coach here. Eric Eidsness left for Northern Illinois in the offseason.
Press coverage.
Cannon Nelson to the air. It is tipped and batted away. Pretty good hand fighting down there between Yankee and Hayes. That'll bring up 3rd and 15.
Well, when Yankee caught that little slant, I think at the time I said something about how his job mostly has been to run downfield and try to catch these 50-50 jump balls, and that's what the Bison tried to do.
Big 3rd down. The Jackrabbits have converted a couple of them here on this drive. 4 of 7 on the day. Nelson, a little quarterback run. Taken down at the 16-yard line. Well short of a 1st down, but a much easier field goal now for Chase Vinatieri, as John Stiegelmeier will run down the clock likely here to just a few seconds left and make this the last play of the half.
Probably take it to about 5.
Let's go down to Ryan Gellner with a First International Bank and Trust sideline report.
Yeah, guys, just an update on the wind. It has significantly gone down since you and I were standing on this field prior to the football game. From here, the wind is going to affect it, mostly blowing that ball to the left, which is the wide side of the field, but really not that much, guys. The wind has gone down quite a bit.
From here, about a 33, 34-yard attempt. Ball right in the middle of the field, so should not be anything too treacherous for Vinatieri. It's funny, Chase was asked about who is the all-time leading scorer in South Dakota State history. He goes, well, I am. Well, my uncle's the all-time leading scorer in the NFL, so I think he still has the upper hand.
Is he still in? But that wasn't the question.
190 yards of offense in this first half for South Dakota State. 12-play drive. That took nearly 6 minutes off the clock. And this will likely be the final play of this first half. Right in the middle of the field from 33 yards. And now NDSU might burn a timeout.
Their 2nd of the half.
They don't carry over. You can't take them with you.
North Dakota State will get the football first to start the second half as well. Won the toss and deferred. And we anticipated with these two defenses, it might be this kind of game. A grinder, slug it out type of affair.
So far, the Jackrabbit offensive line's doing a better job than I thought they'd be able to do today. Both teams over 100 yards rushing. SDSU at 107.
So a 33-yard attempt for Vinatieri. Snap down. It's up and he missed it. No good, wide right. And the Jackrabbits get no points on that last drive, and it's still just a 6-3 game going into the locker room.
Let's go!
Vinatieri, for some reason, has struggled on short field goals.
All right, Ryan Gellner standing by. Well, Matt Entz is in the general vicinity. Now he's with the head coach.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Matt, it's been kind of a different football game. We just haven't been able to find that rhythm.
No, haven't. Too many penalties. I mean, we're getting out of whack. We got penalties that are giving them extra yardage. We're getting penalties where we're behind the sticks when we're moving it. You saw us in the red zone twice inside the 10, come away with 3. You know, it should be a tied ball game right now. But we got to, and then we got to play better on defense as well, of course.
Offensively, what's your biggest message to the team?
Finish. It's what we've been talking about all week. I don't care who's on the other sideline. It's all about us. We got to finish. When we have opportunities, we can't let them go.
Good luck the second half.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Head coach Matt Entz, guys.
Should be a fun second half. Physical football game between these two FCS powers. 6-3 is your halftime score. Stay with us. The Proceed halftime report with Beth Rule, Alex Egan, and Kyle Emanuel. Stay on the other side of this timeout. Back for the Proceed halftime reports. Let's go down to Ryan Gellner on the sidelines.
Hey guys, it's a First International Bank and Trust sideline report. Had the chance, John Stiegelmeier at halftime, saying that his team, they need to convert in the red zone, much like what North Dakota State said. And then he said defensively, they need to continue to stay strong, and they don't plan on changing much at the half. One note on the quarterback, I am told, guys, just updated from the SDSU sideline, he is out for the remainder of the football game with that right knee injury. Back upstairs to you.
Thanks so much, Ryan. And that means that man right there is going to have to take the reins here. Cannon Nelson, who's been in this program for a while, and he has played a little bit, LT, but does the game plan change a little bit now without Gibbs running the ship?
When he came right out and started running the ball, I would say no, because quarterback run remained in. The one thing that is to his advantage is he's been in the program. He has been in the quarterback room with Taryn Christian for a couple of years. He's been his backup. Now he's forced into this game, and he's a junior. He might not have a lot of snaps on the field, but as we see Gibbs all wrapped up, brace on that right knee, and all wrapped up in the ice as well. So Jabori will have to go visit an MRI machine soon, I would have a sense. But my point is on Nelson is that, you know, he's not a freshman coming in who's gonna, you know, fill his boots. He's ready.
And you certainly hope for Jabori Gibbs it's not anything that's going to be season ending. I mean, you know, this young man has come in here, earned this job, worked really hard, and obviously that's a detrimental blow to South Dakota State the rest of this season, not just today.
Bison defense in that second quarter, though, did kind of stiffen up a little bit. 69 total yards in that second quarter compared to almost double that in the first quarter that the Jackrabbits had.
And each team put together long drives too, LT. 10, 12, 15 play drives. There weren't many possessions in that first half.
No, not many scoring chances for either team. That's why the miss from Vinatieri is so big for the team out there in white. I mean, there has been so few actual scoring opportunities. Who knows? Does first touchdown win this thing today?
As we mentioned, North Dakota State won the toss deferred, so the Bison will have the football first.
And now if you look at the flag, it is straight down. It is limp. So the what would have been a wind advantage for SDSU in this quarter right now doesn't exist.
Vinatieri will boot it away. Dimitri Williams and Ty Brooks both back for North Dakota State. Peterson Farm Seat kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seat. This one sailing through the back of the end zone. North Dakota State will start on the 25 for this opening drive of the second half. Trey Lance. 10 runs in that first half for 35 yards. His numbers sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. 5 and 9, 52 yards. Nothing easy.
No.
It's been tough.
So a total of 17 quarterback runs in this game so far today.
Lance going to keep it here. And pick up 3 on first down to the 28-yard line, maybe the 29. We'll bring up 2nd and 6.
So far, I think both teams really have done a decent job defensively of not overplaying or over-pursuing to the jet motion side. They have hunkered down and made sure that that ball is out of the quarterback's hands before making a movement. And the Jackrabbits, I thought, did a good job with their linebackers right there.
Lance is going to air it out. Sproles one-on-one coverage. Could not haul it in at the 40-yard line. And running stride for stride was the linebacker Logan Backus, showing his speed, staying with the speedy Sproles.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. This is what NDSU wanted, a wide receiver on a linebacker, but Backus in good position, and you could tell Sproles knew he was running out of space too. If the ball gets there, he had to do something really special with his feet.
North Dakota State, 5 of 8 on third down in the first half. This will be 3rd and 6 from the 29. Lance again is going to run it. The Jackrabbits converge to make the tackle. I think the first man there for SDSU is Quentin Hicks, who's a true freshman out of Wichita, Kansas.
I just saw something that has not happened much this year. That was Dylan Radens getting beat. Because that time Radens is trying to seal that outside. Then, as you mentioned, his name was Hicks there, Brian. He speed rushed him, beat him to the inside, and the seal didn't happen.
So a 3 and out for North Dakota State on the opening drive. Yankee back at his own 30-yard line as Wegner has his second punt of the day. This one kind of a low liner towards the sideline. Yankee has it returnable at the 25. Stays in bounds and is able to get up to the 40-yard line before he is taken down. So the Jackrabbits, good field position again, 12 yards on the return. There is a flag at the 43-yard line.
Yankees in the bottom of that pile too. There was a whole bunch of beef that landed on top of him, but got up a little slow. Flag back at the 43.
Looks like initial signal is going to be holding on South Dakota State.
During the kick, holding, receiving team, number 16. 10-yard penalty from the end of the kick, first down.
Buying, building, or refinancing. Start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. That's a big penalty for South Dakota State. Instead of 1st and 10 at the 40, backed up to the 18-yard line.
Got steeper than when, or where Yankee first caught the ball on the punt.
There's a look at Nelson. Attempted 7 passes in that first half, completed just 2 of them for 13 yards. He did run 4 times for 26 yards. Give inside for Strong. Stepping out of tackles. And a big gain as Jabril Cox makes the tackle at the 36-yard line, a gain of 18.
He's a stick the foot into the turf and go guy. Here's his one cut downhill seam, hill seam opens, and then he uses the speed to get past the defensive lineman, past the corner help, and all the way up to the 35.
Boy, huge hole that time on the cutback lane for Strong. He's going to get the carry again and bounce it outside. More room. And he's pushed out of bounds by Marquise Bridges after a gain of 9 more.
At first I thought he was going to get a little bit more than that, Brian, because Bridges got hung up a little bit in some flow.
Here are the first half numbers, sponsored by the North Dakota Beef Commission, funded by beef farmers and ranchers. And again, Nelson doing as much damage with his legs as he is with his arm so far here today. 2nd and 1. Maybe a shot spot here where South Dakota State takes a shot. Deion Campbell is the man in motion. Give inside. A flag did come out back at the 40-yard line, so hold on just a minute. As it stands right now, would be enough for a first down, but we'll check the flag.
There is something that seems that seems appropriate, that a quarterback's first name is Cannon, doesn't it?
David Siegel will tell us what's up.
Illegal formation. Offense, 5 in the backfield. 5-yard penalty. Repeat. 2nd down.
Move it back to the 39. Officiating crew's been busy today.
Yeah, neither team's going to love the penalty count when this thing's all added up. I know you mentioned Bison have 6. I think that was the 5th one on South Dakota State.
C.J. Wilson this time, finished off by Hankey. Aaron Mercadal, first man in there, will bring up 3rd and 4.
Interesting move when they take the tight end Hart, put him out on the wide side, the ex-receiver. The Bison is playing that man up.
Mikey Daniels checking into the game at tailback. Nelson firing on the out and out of the reach of Kate Johnson. Was right at the first down sticks, and that'll bring up fourth down.
That's the second time today. The first time it worked, this time it doesn't. Johnson goes in motion and then sets up kind of along the hash mark to give himself more space to out in front of the Bison sideline. Just a little simple out, as Brian mentioned, right at the sticks, but he did not hold on. Both teams will force a punt in their first defensive possessions.
That'll bring on Ben Dinkle once again. Dinkle angling this one towards the sidelines as well, and letting it bounce inside the 5 and into the end zone. Close call there for North Dakota State. As Jarek Berg was giving chase, the Bison will start at the 20-yard line. It's still 6-3 on the Egg Country Farm Credit Services scoreboard with 10:53 to go in the third quarter. Let's take a look at the Gate City Bank fan cam. Remember to send in your watch party pics to fancamyourcam.com. We'll show them in the fourth quarter. Hand off to the outside. And running hard and cutting it back up in was Ty Brooks, and he was able to gain 4 before getting mowed down.
Little cross action in the backfield. The Bison trying to confuse the eyes a little bit from the Jackrabbits. Handing off. Brooks comes one way. After the handoff, Lance comes the other. So there you see the rush. Brooks goes up, gets what he can.
And inside again to Brooks, spinning out of a tackle, and he's going to have a first down to the 31-yard line.
There's a pretty good battle between a couple of players in the 50s. 55 Thomas Stacker for South Dakota State got owned by 59 Carson Schoening. Or Schoening, rather, the center for NDSU.
Again, these Jackrabbit defensive linemen, they'll go 10-11 deep up front. Lance going to keep, trying to get the edge, puts down his shoulder, and picked up about 5 yards.
Michael Griffin went to the turf, started walking back to the huddle, and then went down. Pretty good lead block, I believe, on that particular play, too, by 81 Josh Babbage. Here's Babbage with a little seal to the inside.
Oof. We'll step aside. 9:37 to go as they look at Michael Griffin Jr. Still 6-3 North Dakota State, 2nd and 5 at the 35 when we return. North Dakota State 2nd and 6 from the 35-yard line. Lance is going to keep again. Jackrabbits ready for it. Rosaboom in there, along with Ryan Erith. Gain of a couple more will bring up 3rd and 4.
Similar cross motion in the backfield. No give to Williams on the jet. Rosaboom saw that the quarterback kept it. And we've talked about his speed to the ball.
Boy, Bison got a whole bunch of players on the line of scrimmage here on 3rd and 4. Lance swinging it out, caught by Dimitri Williams right at the sticks. And depending where they mark him out, he's going to be very close to a first down, and I think he's got it.
Yeah, he does.
And NDSU converts.
Bison were able to get Williams on that flat. A man up against Seven Wilson, the linebacker. Wilson just had too far to go to try to cut off the angle to keep Dimitri from getting the first down.
Inside give. Boy, most room we've seen. Brooks stepping out of a tackle. Ty Brooks, 59 yards, touchdown!
Which team was going to get into the end zone first today? There's your answer. Here's your Nodak Insurance Company replay. Boy, both the tight end and Jensen got real good blocks, pops the seam, and the Bison get that so important touchdown to take the lead.
Bison just slogging it through in the in between the tackles and finally busted one. Throws on for the extra points. He knocks it through, and it's 10-6, North Dakota State. Let's pause for a quick message from the Bank of North Dakota.
My plan was to get a degree in engineering, and with the help of a student loan from Bank of North Dakota, I did. If you want to build something solid, you need a plan.
Bank of North Dakota, helping you achieve more.
Ty Brooks, over 100 yards against UC Davis, over 100 against Indiana State. His third touchdown of the season, 15th of his career, and the big third down set it up.
Oh, that was really key for Williams to be able to pick up that on the Nodak Insurance Company replay, and then Ty Brooks, off some good work from the offensive line, is able to get second level. And the Bison have had some tough times to get to second level. Here's that scoring run. The seam opens up. Somebody overruns it. I think it might have been Manchagaya. And yellow and blue squares have never looked so good for Ty Brooks.
Bobcat scoring recap, 6 plays, 80 yards, and 238. Big third down conversion. Another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Touchback. South Dakota State will start from the 25.
Well, I think the two guys pulling on that play, I think it was, I thought I saw Ben Elfson working his way in there, and then Nash Jensen at the point of attack, and then Brooks just was able to explode through that seam so fast, and one of the safeties blew the fit, and I can't remember which one it was. Griffin, who just got hurt, so I don't know if it's the guy who came in for Griffin or if it was Manchagaya, who didn't do what a safety's supposed to do, and NDSU has now grabbed the lead.
Nelson will throw. He's under pressure, and the ball is loose, and the Bison got it. I think Matt Biegler fell on top of it for NDSU at the 14-yard line.
Was it Wagee, the one that got the ball out of there? Wagee came around from the end, and I thought he was coming on a speed rush to the outside, was first man there, ball gets loose, then Biegler jumps on top of it. Yep, 99, watch Wagee. He beats the tackle, works his way to the quarterback, ball free. Hankey's trying to scoop and score. Biegler's there to cover it up. Back to back, a big offensive play, and now a huge defensive play for NDSU.
So the Bison offense right back on the field. Now the Bison faithful coming to life. Delta formation, 3 in the backfield with Lance in the shotgun. Lance is going to keep to the 5. He lost the football, and he got it back at the 2, I think.
I think he's got it back.
And now a flag comes out after the play.
Be after the fumble. So here's Lance. Nodak Insurance Company replay. Ball comes out and he gets it right back. It looks like it bounced off the official's foot. And then
I think Ty Brooks may have come on top of it as well with Lance, and then who knows?
I think the
play is a fumble recovered by the offense in advance of the line to gain. After the play, unsportsmanlike conduct. Offense, number 66, to pulling someone off the pile. That 15-yard penalty will be assessed It will be a first down and 10 for North Dakota State.
Yeah, watching Ash Jensen, he's trying to clear the pile. He's right here, 66, and he grabbed that Jackrabbit and pulled him back.
And you cannot do that. That is a point of emphasis. They don't want players pulling players off the pile.
That was Ryan Arith, he pulled back.
So it is a first down because Lance did get the line to gain, but it's backed up now to the 18-yard line. Inside run again. Boy, more room to run. This time Dimitri Williams has a first down carry all the way down to the 8-yard line.
And another Jackrabbit downer, slow to get up, very slow to get up.
Now they're marking Williams, I guess, about a half-yard short of the first down at the 9.
It's taken a while, but the Bison have found something inside that is absolutely working to open up a seam and then get past the linebackers. That's the hard part. NDSU's been able to do it.
Give this time, and Cofield should have enough for a first down to the 8. Rosaboom, another tackle, but that will set up the Bison first and goal. Just the second carry of the day for Cofield. Brooks has 5, Williams has 4, and Trey Lance has 15.
I wouldn't be surprised if he has a couple more here before the end of this possession.
Brooks staying on his feet and then falls ahead to the 6. Looked like Austin Smenda was the one that got there first to get him low and take him down.
Smenda was able to work his way back down. Also got a lot of help too. That's Crockett Krolkowski we're looking at too. That's the tackle in the end on that one side, both teaming up to make the play.
Now the I formation with Lupke and Dimitri Williams in the I.
Man to the outside on the top of your screen with Sproles.
Play action. To the end zone, Ellison, touchdown!
The Bison were able to get Elfson man up on the linebacker, Levi Brown. Sproles ran a diagonal inside on a very physical play from the corner, opens up the outside, you throw it to the high point man, and Ben Elfson now is the all-time touchdown leader for tight ends, passing Wurzbacher, and he also put 6 on the board here to build the Bison lead.
James Hendricks looking things over here. The Bison have gone for 2 at a few different times, and they're going to go for it here. Hendricks not going to get there. Stops short. So it'll remain 16-6 with 5:57 to go in the third quarter. We step aside. North Dakota State has taken the momentum as Ben Ellefson collects yet another touchdown, and the Hawley product has 15 in his career and is in the top 10 in school history. Ben Ellefson, his 15th career touchdown reception. 5 plays, 14 yards, and 207 on the Bobcat scoring recap. And North Dakota State quickly has put 13 points on the board to turn a 3-point deficit into a 10-point lead with just under 6 minutes to go here in the third quarter.
Well, obviously it's the power of the turnover, because it was beginning to look like it was going to be tough for anybody to get 1 touchdown today, let alone NDSU hanging 2 on the board real quick.
Garrett Wegner, another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kickoff the planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Another touchback and another Jackrabbit possession that will start at the 25-yard line.
Seems a little quieter in here, doesn't it?
It's the first turnover of the game, and you kind of wondered, LT, when was going to be that big first mistake, and that really was the first critical mistake for either team.
Well, compounded it actually. The missed either alignment or missed tackle on Ty Brooks' long touchdown run. So the defense made a mistake there, and then the obvious mistake the offense made on the turnover.
Jackrabbits back to work. Going to the ground game. Trying to get outside and room to run for Strong. And finally stepping out of bounds, close to midfield at the 49, so a gain of 24 yards. And Strong getting very close to the 100-yard mark. 11 carries now for 86.
I honestly don't know why he doesn't have close to his jersey number in carries yet. This is what he's been doing all year. He does it again today. He only needed 100 carries to get his first 1,000 yards. He's averaging 9 coming in here.
Nelson's going to keep it this time, and he's got room. Taken down by Costner Ching after a gain of 7. Inside Bison territory, down to the 44.
That's where it's on the quarterback. It's a kind of a zone read type of a play. Depending on what the defender does, he hangs with the running back.
John Stiglmeyer in his 23rd season, 164 and 101. 1979 graduate of South Dakota State.
His FCS record 122 and 68. To that, stick from Selby, South Dakota.
North Dakota State, South Dakota State, only 2 programs to make it through the playoffs the last 7 years. Strong with that run. Gets ahead inside the 41-yard line, and that will move the chains again.
I mean, another little indicator, not that we need more, just to show you where these 2 programs are and how important today's game is. I mean, this is the 12th straight time that these 2 teams have played, where both teams are nationally ranked as well. A lot of room for Johnson in the slot.
A lot of room. Now Jabril Cox moves, and Nelson's going to run with it to the short side of the field, and he just runs out of bounds after a gain of 3 yards down to the 38. Tutsy, Hayes, Wagey all chasing him out.
Well, Josh Hayes is the one that has to control outside leverage, and he let himself get sucked up too much into about where that tackle zone was and missed his fit. Yeah, Hayes is the corner. Corners play on the outside. On a running game, don't let anybody to your outside. Well, he did on that particular play.
Hellhart motioning out again to the low side of your screen there. Strong, nice juke. Gets away from Hankey. Oh, a stiff arm. And Strong finally run out of bounds by Jabril Cox at the 26-yard line. And this guy's so tough to tackle in the open field.
His first move was awesome. Nodak Insurance Company replay, bang, right here. That jump to the outside, speed past Hankey, and then there's one more stiff arm here, and about another 5 yards gained after that stiff arm. I mean, Mercadal thinks he's going to put a hit on him. And he whiffed. And taking Michael Tutsy off his feet as well.
Strong gets a break. Now C.J. Wilson into the game. Wilson getting the carry, nothing. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it. Hankey making that stop. Experience a better home loan with Gate City Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank provides locally approved, financed, and serviced home loans. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Just get a feeling that somehow the Jacks have to get Cade Johnson involved. That's him right there with Cox on him.
Lined up in the slot. Nelson quarterback run, patiently waiting. Hayes dragging him down at the 21-yard line, and that'll bring up 3rd and 5. See on this drive, the Jacks have been very reluctant to throw the football. Been able to move it pretty much on the ground entirely here. This will be the 7th play of the drive.
But you're down by 10 and you're burning the whole 3rd quarter.
Mikey Daniel into the game at tailback. Johnson in motion. Daniel gets the carry. Oh, Nelson kept it. And he has dropped for a loss of 4 back to the 24. Hankey got in there. Jake Caba as well.
Caba was first guy there. Look out for number 54, Farmers Union Nodak Insurance Company replay.
Tutsy was actually the guy. It was 52. And also forced the issue. That'll set up Vinatieri for a 40-yard field goal. He's missed from 33. He's been good from inside 20 twice, or inside 30, I should say. Up, booted, looks pretty good, and he sneaks it through that right upright. And Vinatieri connects to get the Jacks back within 7 with under a minute to go here in the third quarter.
Well, it's 3 points, not 6 points for SDSU, but the Jacks did get one of those scores back where the Bison had that 2-score advantage.
The yards on the ground are starting to pile up now for both teams. South Dakota State with 176 on the ground, North Dakota State with 208. Nelson's only attempted 1 pass here in the second half. Bobcats scoring a recap. 9 plays, 52 yards in 5 minutes as Vinatieri is able to get the Jacks back within a touchdown. Once again, it will be Cole Fromm, the sophomore.
I think we've only had 1 kickoff return so far today, haven't we? And that was the one where Brooks kind of goofed on it.
Yeah, both place kickoff guys have done a nice job. Well, I guess the 3, if you include the 2 from South Dakota State, Vinatieri. Puts it up. This one deep. Well out of the back of the end zone, and that will set up the Bison at the 25-yard line. Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed.
Coach Entz, when he was the defensive coordinator for the 5 years, his defenses over the course of that entire 5-year span average giving up less than 14 points a game.
Amazing. Right now, the Bison done a really good job defensively this year as well, giving up just 10 points a game, which is second best in the FCS. Lance to keep. Picking his way. Boy, good strong run from Lance. And then Diamond Evans came in and laid a pretty good whack on him, but still a gain of 7 on first down. And another South Dakota State Jackrabbit is down. And maybe that is Evans.
It is
came
Evans.
in and laid the hit.
It's Evans on the Nodak Insurance Company replay. Evans will come down. See Rosaboom getting taken care of there by Volson. It wasn't because of the initial hit, Brian. I think he kind of slid past the outside of the runner and slammed into the ground so hard. Evans, a true freshman out of Chicago. Best cover corner, according to the people we talked with this week about this Jackrabbit team.
And he was a guy North Dakota State recruited a little bit as well. That Chicago area has been behind, I think, both programs. And South Dakota State's done a good job of getting in there more, as has North Dakota State.
Interesting area to recruit to up there. So I think we're taking a timeout.
We will step aside. Four fingers up starts of this fourth quarter here in the Dakota Marker game. 16th annual. The Bison lead the all-time series in Division I here at 9-6. And the all-time series dating back to 1903, 62-42 to 5. First and 10, North Dakota State from the 36-yard line with a 1-touchdown lead.
Radio Maryland Eye.
Play action. Lance is going to air it out. One-on-one coverage. And a flag comes in on Don Gardner. Intended target was Christian Watson as the Bison took a shot.
Isolation on the outside. Watson and Gardner running. You're not going to see Gardner trying to look for the ball at all. And in college, I guess technically you don't have to, but certainly contact there.
15-yard penalty from the previous 5.
Both the side judge and the deep field judge both threw flags on that play. First down, NDSU. In that third quarter, Brian, we could see this Bison offense starting just to be a little bit more physical. NDSU ground out 127 yards in that third period. These two teams just continue, though, to beat the snot out of each other, don't they?
Yes, they do. That moves the ball inside South Dakota State territory to the 49. Williams following blockers, driving ahead to the 44 and a pickup of 5 yards. Good movement that time up front from everybody.
That's the type of offensive line surge that did not exist in the first half, first quarter especially. But when you start leaning and you start pounding and you start being physical, which this offensive line can do, you have results like that on first down, zone blocking, man on man. We're going to beat you. And everybody out there in a blue jersey went backward.
Well, look who's checked in at wide receiver, number 22, Jake Lippy. That's a true freshman. Out there to the bottom side of your screen. Give outside for Williams. Cannot get away from Rosaboom, but still enough for a first down to the 38-yard line.
He's just so fast, Rosaboom. Kodak Insurance Company replay. You're going to get Cofield out in front to make a block. At this point, it looks pretty good because you got two on, you know, the Bison have a man each on the two guys downfield, but you can't sneak by number 2, who's so quick. But instead of being another big gain on the ground, it was enough to get what you obviously wanted, and that's the first down. NDSU has taken the edge in time of possession as well.
Cofield trying to get away from 7 Wilson, and a flag comes in. Gain of 2, but we'll see what the flag is. Usually in the area of offensive holding.
Well, I think they're throwing it at Cordell Volson.
Holding. Offense. Number 82. 10-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat. First down.
On Ben Elson, not Cordell Volson. See if we can pick it up. There's 82 on the outside. Oh yeah, had him locked up, spun him around a little bit.
Now first and 20. Play action for Lance. Airing it downfield, man running free, and it's out of his reach. Phoenix Sproles was left all alone.
He was wide open. Oh, the corner gave him a free release for some reason. And the safety's the only guy. Oh, I guess his corner came in on a blitz. And then Griffin, who's been down once with an injury, trying to catch back up.
Oh boy, that is a dodged bullet for South Dakota State. Lance going to run. Rosaboom in on another tackle. Finished off on the play by Chase Norblade, another freshman safety that's coming in, and that was a minimal pickup. So third and a long way coming up here for the Bison.
Jackrabbit crowd trying to get loud once again after a couple of touchdowns. It silenced down a little bit here.
Lance with time, swinging it out of the reach of Dimitri Williams, a little bit behind him as he was streaking free. Would have been good enough to gain some yardage, but that will bring up a punting situation.
It's back-to-back throws out of Lance that he's going to want both of these back. This one does not allow Williams a chance to even have a catchable ball. It sails on him just a little bit. The idea is to hit him in stride to give an opportunity to make a move on the DB, who is Lofton.
Garrett Wegner on for the punt. This one down toward the 4, and NDSU unable to keep it from going in the end zone, and a touchback. Pretty well done there from Wegner, but just could not quite get it to settle down. Jackson Brown, one of the special teamers for North Dakota State, getting chase, and he will start this drive for South Dakota State up to 20.
Another long field for the Jackrabbits here in the second half. Coach Stegelmeyer.
I think we have a new quarterback in the game. Is Keaton hiding in the game? Oh. Does that look like number 13 to you?
It is, the freshman from Wayzata.
Boy, no room to maneuver there for Strong. The Bison ready for that one. And a loss of 1 back to the 19. Hinkie, among others, washing down.
Yeah, Strong's pretty good about staying patient to make that first big cut. Well, when NDSU has it, as you said, washed down, no opportunity to cut or cut back. So the Bison perfect on their run fit.
Mikey Daniel, Luke Sellers coming into the game.
I mean, obviously when Nelson was in there, he was running the ball. He certainly wasn't throwing it. So I don't know if this is an opportunity to maybe get the ball in the air a little bit more here from the Jacks. I don't know. Third quarterback of the day, though.
Strong. Good strong run. 2 yards short of a first down to the 28.
Got about 4 more after it looked like NDSU had him wrapped up.
I don't know, maybe there's a situation where even Nelson is dinged up a little bit here. He got up a little bit slow after one of those quarterback runs.
All 11 guys within 8 yards of the line of scrimmage defensively.
Daniel's got room. Mikey Daniel finally ridden down inside Bison territory at the 48-yard line by Marquise Bridges.
Not the running back you would think that would be able to pop one to the outside, but Daniel was able to make a nice move there to turn Marquise Bridges around. But you could tell in that pre-snap movement, NDSU was selling out on that run stop, and there was space to the outside, and Daniel found it.
Lane Tucker in the game at the defensive tackle position for NDSU, and I think they may get him for encroachment.
Yep.
Offside with contact. Defense, number 60. 5-yard penalty. First down.
So now 1st and 5 from the 43. There's a look at Tucker. Just a sophomore out of Gillette, Wyoming.
How willing will the Jackrabbits be to try to throw the ball?
Heine's going to go deep. And it is batted away, and a flag comes in at the 20. Cade Johnson, the intended target.
The first down Jackrabbits. Tutsy on the coverage. Looked to me like he had a hand in there early.
Pass interference. Defense, number 25. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic. First down.
Nodak Insurance Company replay. Definitely downfield contact between the two.
That'll move the ball down inside the 30 to the 28-yard line. Strong finding a crease, juking ahead, diving ahead, gaining 5 to the 23-yard line.
Jackrabbits have done quite a bit of this year, and this I mean running with all 3 running backs in there. You have Daniel in at a fullback position, Strong and Wilson both in there as well.
16 carries for 116 yards now for Pierre Strong on the day.
With the freshman quarterback, though, I think the handoff is probably more predetermined than him making a read, pulling that and going to the option to the outside.
Heidi's going to keep it this time. And a good strong run down to the 12-yard line. James Hendricks with the tackle.
Now, when your free safety is the first contact, you know it was blocked well. Nodak Insurance Company replay, and this was blocked extremely well. Really good seam. Was able to make a nice little cut to the outside and try to be physical on the back end of that, and then hold on to the ball because Jabril Cox is coming there to try to dislodge it from the young quarterback as well.
Strong, taken down right at the line of scrimmage. Aaron Mercadell, Derek Tuska there for the tackle.
Deion Campbell has gone in motion through that backfield so many times, and so far he's been nothing but a decoy. Is there a play in the back pocket that eventually gets the ball to him?
Heidi to throw. Under pressure, fires. It is caught by Hartz. And he is taken down right at the 3-yard line. I think about a yard short of a first down. Delivered low, but Heidi able to hang in there and make the pass.
Jacks will try to go quick here on 3rd and 1. Nice job by the freshman to stand in there in front of the pressure, though. He got hit hard.
Heidi's going to keep it to the outside. Touchdown.
The pull. And nobody else out there to try to get a body on him. Jabril Cox saw it. Couldn't get there. He was not the primary man. Tried to stop the quarterback on that play. And we're a PAT away from this thing being tied.
Vinatieri has missed 3 extra points this season. Down, up, and South Dakota State has tied it up at 16 with 7:22 to go. We step aside. We got a good one here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings. Welcome back. Let's take a look at the Gate City Bank fan cam. Thanks to all of you who submitted your watch party picks wherever you are. Well, we had all sorts of states represented last week. Thanks to all of you watching. Great to have you with us. Boy, the guy with the pool, that looked nice.
Yeah.
Thank you all for submitting your picks for the Gate City Bank fan cam. We got a good one here. 7:22 to go. We're tied up at 16. Vinatieri booting this one over to the sidelines, and Brooks will return it. Brooks down to the 22 before he is taken down. And that's where North Dakota State will start this drive. Bobcat scoring recap. An impressive run here for South Dakota State. 9 plays, 80 yards, and 454 with a true freshman quarterback at the helm.
Yeah, down to your 3rd quarterback, and you have an answer like that. The Bison had what at one point appeared to be a comfortable 10-point lead. It's gone.
Lance is going to keep it. Lance slammed to the turf after a gain of 8 yards. 7 Wilson able to get in there.
But the reason that play works is that the Bison influenced the linebackers to make a shift. So both Roseboom beforehand, Roseboom's over, and then also 7 moves over as well. And so Wilson has to cover 2 more steps in order to get back to where he started from, and that allows Lance to be able to get upfield and get 8.
Inside give. Not much room. Back to the line of scrimmage, and that is it for Adam Cofield, and a 3rd and 2 coming up.
Backus among others. Could be a very important 2 yards right here.
I would have to agree with you. Bison have nobody split out wide. Williams is trying to throw it, and it's intercepted. Levi Brown picked it off as Williams was hit trying to throw the football.
The officials are huddling. I'm not sure what they're talking about, but remember that momentum that NDSU had and the Jacks took away? Well, they've just added to it.
It's an interception by the defense during after the play.
Insurance Company replay.
Warning. South Dakota State. That's just a warning in their first of the game. First down.
Oh yeah, that's a catch, isn't it?
Yep.
But credit who was right on top of Dimitri, though.
I think it was 7 Wilson, wasn't it?
I didn't catch his number, to be honest. Trying to get it downfield to one of the tight ends.
First turnover for North Dakota State today. And the Jackrabbits set up at the 32-yard line with a chance to take the lead. Daniel, a yard to the 31.
Slide out and Strong will come in. Nope. Daniel will stay in as Anderson, one of the wide receivers, goes out.
So 2 in the backfield here, both Strong and Daniel. Kay Johnson, the lone receiver. Strong lost the ball, and there's a scrum for it. I think the Jacks got back on top of it after a gain of about 5 yards.
The hit was strong enough to dislodge the ball from Pierre Strong. He doesn't give it up very often. Who is that, Hart?
Hart and Sellers both at the bottom there as Hankey was battling for it.
Perfect pad level on the hit. Beautiful job there by Tutsi.
Hart was the guy that got there first.
And the Bison player still on the turf.
We'll step aside as they attend to the injured Bison. 5:04 to go. A 3rd and 4 coming up. Third and 4 for South Dakota State, and now a timeout for NDSU.
30 seconds. Charge timeout. North Dakota State. Their first of the half.
Buying, building, or refinancing, start with a free immediate pre-approval from Gate City Bank and experience a better home loan. Get started today at gatecity.bank for a better way of life. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
That was the Bison that took the timeout as well. Just we talked about that being a big 2 yards for NDSU. About a big 3 or 4 yards here for the Jackrabbits.
From here, you're looking at about a 43-yard field goal attempt for Vinatieri. He did connect from 40 in the 3rd quarter. Well, it's the game we all thought it would be, LT.
Oh, absolutely. The big muscle running back, Daniel. He's the guy in the back of the pistol.
Johnson, the motion man. Somebody moved for the Jacks. I think it was the tight end. Is it Coons?
Start. Offense, number 88. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
So now 3rd and 9. The play you may have wanted to run, you may not be able to run now.
No, that play is thrown to the scrap heap. You need to start over again on 3rd and 9. Freshman quarterback.
Heidi to throw, pressure coming. And it's intercepted by Josh Hayes. Oh, a big turnover for NDSU.
Heidi not able to step into the throw because of that pressure that was coming from his left. And that pass was about 10 yards short of where it needed to go. Staring down the outside. Hayes is able to play the ball, play the quarterback instead of play the man. And the Bison get the pick.
So now the Bison offense back onto the field. 4:56 to go. Give to Watson. Diamond Evans back into the game, makes the tackle after a gain of 5.
Jackrabbits have had a number of defensive backs go off in this game, but I think all of them have come back on to play again.
Inside handoff for Brooks. A couple of yards, maybe up to the 28, 27. We'll bring up another big 3rd down.
Ran into a pretty solid wall right there. Brooks was unable to make a move or try to bounce it free from it. Empty.
Cofield's going to get the give. Cofield diving ahead. I think he's going to be a half-yard short of the 1st down to the 29.5.
He's probably the best back the Bison have at being able to finish a run, but here he finished a half a yard short. Kodak Insurance Company replay. And who's that, Like? That was Lycus, I think.
Bison are leading the offense on the field with 3:12 to go, at least right now.
No, that was Roseboom, by the way, who ran it down.
NDSU literally needs about 6 inches.
Well, they had to reset the play clock. Okay, as I say, otherwise NDSU would need it.
They need the 30. Well, looked like they just tried a hard count in here. And NDSU trying to draw him offside. We'll just call a timeout. Let's take a timeout. 2:42 to go. Bison 4th and inches from the 29 3/4. Experience a better home loan with Gate City Bank. Whether you're buying, building, or refinancing, Gate City Bank provides locally approved finance and service home loans. Gate City Bank, for a better way of life. Member FDIC.
The offense is on the field.
Holy cow. Hold on, everybody. 4th and the Bison
down
need
the
a little time.
Jacks called the timeout.
First timeout charged to South Dakota State. Does that change anything?
During that whole timeout, the person I was looking at was Ross Kenneally, the snapper. Is he going to come out of that huddle, or is he going to go back to the sideline? Ross walks back to the sideline, and here comes that first team offense out there on the 4th and short. And Coach Stig is forced to use a timeout.
This copyrighted broadcast is property of North Dakota State University. Any rebroadcast, reproduction, or distribution without the consent of NDSU is strictly prohibited. Are you surprised by this?
I thought if you were going to go for it, you would have before the timeouts. Bison line up in the eye.
Bison just need the nose of the ball to touch the 30. And it's a run, and Cofield is breaking free down the sideline. Adam Cofield's going to take it the distance. 71 yards, touchdown.
Forget about the first down. How about a touchdown on top of that thing? Oh, what a gutsy call by Coach Ndsu to go for it deep in his own territory, and it turns out to be gold, green and gold. Oh, nice job by Lupke on the outside, and here Backus is trying to catch up to him, and Cofield outruns him into the end zone. What a fun game.
Prosa adds the extra point, and the Bison have taken the lead in dramatic fashion here in Brookings.
Look at it again. Somebody gets to, I think it was Roseboom, and takes the top tackler out of the equation. And then Adam Cofield, high stepping it in, the junior from Lee Summit, Missouri, putting the Bison back ahead.
Before that run, Adam Cofield had 4 carries for 6 yards. And the Jackrabbits, with a true freshman quarterback and 2 timeouts, will have to find a way here in the last 2:32. Let's take a look at the Bobcat scoring recap. It was only 4 plays, and that 4th one was a big one. The Bison up to 321 rushing yards after that 71-yard dash from Cofield.
But how about that for Cofield? He's a football length away from picking up the first down on 3rd. They give it to him on the money down, 4th down, and he takes it all the way.
Wegner, another Peterson Farm Seed kickoff. Kick off your planning season with Peterson Farm Seed. Here, Strong will let this bounce into the end zone, and the Jackrabbits will have 75 yards to cover in the next 2:32.
And the task is so much more difficult for the offense, knowing it needs the touchdown instead of a field goal opportunity. Holy nutmeg, what a run, huh?
That sticks line.
I know, that's why I used it.
Coyotes attempted 2 passes today. The one was complete to the tight end,
the other one was
Hart.
complete too.
The other one was complete to Josh Hayes. Gotta watch where number 15 is here, Kate Johnson. And give it to Strong. Stacked up for a loss of 1.
When you said where Johnson was, it was Jabril Cox playing press coverage right on top of him. He's doing it again.
Quickly to the line, the Jackrabbits, as we're under 2:20. Pressure coming on Heidi, and he is buried by Derek Tuskin. He's got the football.
I think the quarterback is down, but you're right about the buried part of it. Tuska swallows up the freshman quarterback.
3rd sack of the day for North Dakota State.
Not the first time.
Oh, I think that ball's out, LT.
Was it out? Oh, we can't tell there.
The other angle looked like it had become loose. They have to take a look at this one.
Not the first time that Aaron Johnson was beat to the outside. Remember, Spencer Wagee got in on it. Here's our look.
See, the ball's out, right? Right there.
Oh, he's got
right
the ball.
there.
Well, we play on.
And now they whistle it dead just before they got the snap. I think Maya Nance may have taken a timeout just to have them look at this.
Prior to the snap, there's an official's timeout to review the previous play.
Here, I think you can look at and read Entz. The quarterback didn't even have the ball.
Matt Entz saying, why wouldn't you look at that right away? Why do I have to tell you? Again, we are not
the official replays today. Yep. And our game cameras are on the opposite side. So this is a camera that both of us are using, an end zone camera.
To me, that ball's out.
They've looked at it.
We'll see if there's enough there.
Third down.
So the ruling stance certainly looked like it had come free from the angles we looked at, but instead it will be 3rd and 18 from the 12-yard line with 2:01 left. Bison have 7 men in coverage. Jackson Hankey is about 15 yards past the line of scrimmage.
Playing deep center.
Clock starts on the whistle.
Got to get to the 35.
Heidi under pressure again, and down he goes again.
Same guy.
Back at the 12.
Derek Tuska again.
And John Stiegelmeier calls for a timeout with 1:45 left.
The senior from Warner, South Dakota, takes care of South Dakota State's quarterback on back-to-back plays. Tuska in the top 10 in the FCS in sacks. And here he is getting another one. He just smokes right past the tackle. Johnson beat badly on the play. Tuska gets to the quarterback again.
And Beagler and Wagey there just in case. And now a 4th and 23. And the ball's at the 12-yard line. The Jackrabbits need the 35. Tuska now 8.5 sacks this season. 24.5 in his career at NDSU. This guy is really having a great senior year. Jackrabbits down to 1 timeout.
Look at that. There's no second-level defensive player closer than 15 yards back. Look at where all these guys are.
Tuska coming again. Across the middle. A little trickeration to Johnson. And to Strong. And they were able to get something back, but not enough. It was executed okay, but still 6 yards short of a first down and a turnover on downs.
Nick Gazer certainly giving a little high five there to Tuska, saying, well done, young man. The Bison best defensive pass rusher really came through when it counted inside of 2 minutes left in this game.
I still can't believe the 4th and 1 70-yard touchdown run. Unbelievable.
Holy nutmeg.
Jacks can stop the clock once. Brooks.
Now 2 hands around that. And there's the last timeout from SDSU.
1:30 left.
If you don't know where the holy nutmeg thing comes from, that's Stig's line, actually. And that's actually his Twitter handle, too.
And when the reasoning behind it is so he doesn't swear.
Yes.
When he gets really mad, he says that. So that's kind of the thought process behind that, I guess.
He just popped up on the screen, so it seemed appropriate thing to say at the time.
53 yards to go.
Boy, the momentum shifts in this second half.
Never been right tonight.
Wild, haven't they?
This has been an awesome game.
Hear all about it on the Bison Football Show with head coach Matt Entz tomorrow at 10:30 a.m. on KX4 in Eastern North Dakota and across all your other NBC affiliates throughout the state of North Dakota. Cofield wrapping up. Taken down about 2 yards short of a first down.
There will be a lot to talk about tomorrow. Jeremy and Coach Entz.
Jeremy Jeffrey Jorgensen, the host of that show. It's at 10:30 tomorrow. So 3rd and 2 coming up.
Well, the answer is yes. And the question is, did this game live up to what everybody thought it would?
Holy cow, did it ever.
Absolutely.
Obviously, South Dakota State at a huge disadvantage with the top 2 quarterbacks going out in this game. Cofield has a first down, and that'll do it. Bison can take a knee and walk out of Brookings with the rock for the 2nd straight year. This winning streak started after North Dakota State lost here back in 2017. It was almost 2 years ago.
November 4th.
And since then, the Bison have not lost a game, and they avenged that loss with a win here today in dramatic fashion. And the Blue Faithful are making their way to the exits. They do not want to see the rock get hoisted by the Bison. One more knee. One heck of a football game between these 2 old rivals. And the 110th meeting goes to North Dakota State. And the Bison raise the rock for the 10th time in FCS program history.
Hey, bring that bitch to the fan section. Bring that bitch to the fan section. Bring it to the fan.
Since 2011, the Bison are now 17-1 against teams ranked in the top 5.
NDSU's also won 6 of the last 7 top 10 FCS road games since 2009 as well. The Jackrabbits will have to get over this one quickly, get ready to head to Springfield, Missouri for a meeting with Missouri State next Saturday before hosting Illinois State and Northern Iowa here in November.
Bison have a road game as well against Youngstown next week.
Nothing easy about that one. Youngstown State rolling today to the victory, and some stunned folks in blue trying to figure out how in the world the Bison came in here and pulled this one off. North Dakota State 332 rushing yards today.
They had 347 rushing yards against UNI, and you put over 300 against another good defense. Run the ball, and you'll win the game.
North Dakota State 120-8 since the start of 2000. And the Bison now extend this winning streak to 29 games. You know what? Something tells me this is not the last 2 times we've seen these 2 teams play this season.
I will not argue that line with you at all. That has been the history, and it could happen again.
Ryan Gellner standing by with the victorious head coach, Matt Entz.
You told me at halftime that you wanted your team to finish. They finished.
They did. You know, shoot, I got to check my life insurance after that 4th and 1. They gave me 4 minutes to think about it, but kudos to our kids. I mean, they play hard. Didn't play pretty, but we played hard, and we continued to battle. Some errors, but we'll be better. We'll continue to get better. I'm super excited about where we're at right now.
I want to ask you about your emotions on that 4th and 1, because you needed an inch, and you got 71 yards.
Well, I walked out, and every offensive lineman said, "Coach, let's do it." And so you can tell by the cracks in my voice, I love these kids. They've bought into me, and at least I can do is honor their wishes at times.
How satisfying is this, not just for you, but for your team?
Unbelievable. But you know what? We're going to enjoy it. We're going to go in the locker room, talk about it. We're going to continue to get better. There's things that we can get better at, and that's what's so exciting about this group, and they want to get better. And you don't always have that in football. Sometimes you got teams that want to plateau or think they've reached a good level, and they're okay with that. This group isn't. And they'll be the first ones to point out their errors. And, you know, when you're humble like that, that means you're teachable as well.
Congratulations. What a football game. What a win.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Guys are very happy. Coach Matt Ndsu upstairs.
You don't think this game means anything to that guy. Holy cow. A huge one for him and the Bison to walk out of here 8-0 and remain undefeated in Missouri Valley Conference play. We'll be back to Brookings as they continue to hoist the rock, including one of the South Dakota natives, Spencer Wagey. We're back in a moment here at Dana J. Dykehouse Stadium, Brookings. (23-16) the final. One of the best rivalries you'll find anywhere in FCS. These two teams have met so many times over the years. So many great games have come down to the last couple of plays. This one no different. A big 70-yard touchdown run by Adam Cofield late in that game on a 4th and 1, nonetheless, propels NDSU to victory number 8 on the season.
A 20-point second half for the Bison. They put 23 on the board and win it. It was only a couple of field goals in the first half. The Bison made one field goal in that first half and then really had that super stretch where NDSU kind of forced the Jackrabbits' hand, and then the Jacks had the answer, and then the Bison, of course, end up breaking it on that 4th down play and picking up the win.
The first half, not a lot of excitement, not a lot of action in that first half.
Defense.
It was 6-3. Yeah, if you like defense, that's what you'd like to see here in this first half. But both teams were able to move the ball between the 20s, but getting in the red zone was a challenge.
Yeah, and here's where Gibbs was still in the game. This was before Jabori got hurt in the play, and this was a nice little pop by Hankey. But yeah, both teams came out hitting hard, and getting things through the air were really difficult. Johnson comes up with a really nice one-handed grab, sets up a field goal.
Terry able to connect after North Dakota State was able to get a stop in the red zone, and we talked about how important it is to get stops when teams get there. Lance, big throw here on 3rd down.
This time he hits Phoenix Sproles. Sproles just can't quite get away from the safety, but it was an opportunity for the Bison to move the ball down inside the red zone.
Little trickeration here as Christian Watson found Ben Ellefson for what we thought was an apparent touchdown, but Ellefson called for offensive pass interference.
Yeah, at about the 3-yard line, Ben ran through him pretty hard. The flag flew, and the Bison got their only points in the first half.
Johnson put on the brakes, another big gain. He had some explosive plays in this game, but pretty quiet in the second half.
He was quiet in the second half. Trying to see what Johnson had in terms of receiving yards. 76 on 4 catches.
And that was the big injury on Jabori Gibbs. It did not look like he was anything too severe initially, but then he was helped off. He went to the locker room. He came back out with a knee and a brace and ice on it, so it's going to be, I think, a few weeks at least.
Yeah, and we were told it was an MCL, so that's the first initial look at it, and here's where the Jackrabbits grab the lead.
Terry able to connect again, booting it through, and at that point it was 6-0.
Trey Lance feeling some pressure, getting some yards on the ground. Quarterback run was such a huge part of that first half, both on designed runs and then a little bit of a scramble situation like that from Trey.
Lance able to complete this one to Kapuris. That was a 3rd down. Then there was a late hit afterwards, and that moved the ball inside Jackrabbit territory. And then Kapuris, a run that got the Bison down to the 3-yard line. It was 1st and goal. Looked like NDSU was going to punch it in, but then some penalties really hurt him.
Yeah, there was a movement that I believe by Cordell Volson that helped move the Bison back and then set up that field goal attempt.
Let's take a look at your final stats, sponsored by the North Dakota Certified Seed Producers. Passing yards, not a lot of them for NDSU. Trey Lance did not throw the ball very much. Both teams really try to impose their will on the ground, and I think that's what both teams wanted to try to do in this game coming in.
Actually, NDSU had only rushed the ball one more time than the Jackrabbits did, and then, of course, you see 112 more yards on the ground. So 44 rushes for that, 332 again against a very good defense. The Bison are able to establish something on the ground. 220 yards rushing on 43 carries for the Jackrabbits. And the penalties still are going to be an issue, and the time of possession, which I thought would maybe play a little bit bigger role, and as it ends up it's about as even as the game turned out to be.
And both teams were able to sustain some drives. It was one of those things where it was who was going to make the big play or who was going to get the big stop, and it was North Dakota State. making the big play at the end. We step aside. We'll be back with a look at some of your second half highlights and also take a look at the Missouri Valley Conference scoreboard, as well as bring you your Nodak Insurance Company player of the game. Colton Heagle, he's played in a few of these battles in the past. He's got to be a happy man today. Christian Dudzik as well. Well, some Bison players still taking some photos with the Rock. The Dakota Marker 75-pound trophy that these two teams have played for now the last 16 years, and for the second straight time, it will stay in Fargo. 23-16 your final. Brian Sean Lee Timmerman with you. Thanks so much for joining us here all across the KVLY KFYR Bison Television Network. And the first half action was kind of meh. Second half action, a little bit different.
Boy, these teams are really going at it in the second half, and NDSU here going through the air to pick up a first down. The Bison only threw it 15 times today. The Jacks only had 16 passes today.
And that was a big third down conversion, because on the very next play, Ty Brooks was able to escape for a 59-yard touchdown run. And North Dakota State was in pretty good position at this point, had taken the lead. And people think, hey, maybe the Bison are going to run away with this thing. And that was not the case.
And because of that long touchdown run, Ty averaged 10.8 yards a carry.
And this guy had a tremendous day as well. Over 100 yards on the ground. You can see how tough he is to tackle in space. Pierre Strong, they rode him as much as they could.
And quarterback run in the second half as well. More of the same. Both teams trying to get it done on the ground. And NDSU was able to bottle up and get some pressure on the quarterbacks in the second half.
And that was Cannon Nelson that came in, and Vinatieri able to connect on a 40-yard field goal, just barely as they stuck it through the right upright. So Keaton Heide had to come into the game, and the Jacks continue to pound the ground, and they really did a nice job of mixing it up between backs and schemes and formations, kept NDSU off balance.
Yeah, Daniel took that one 23 yards, and then the freshman pulls and gets the Jacks into the end zone. The PAT ties this thing up right after NDSU had that 10-point advantage.
And we had some weirdness here. Dimitri Williams trying to find a tight end on 3rd and short. It was intercepted by Levi Brown. But then South Dakota State right back. It's Josh Hayes comes up with the interception on 3rd down as well to keep SDSU off the scoreboard. And then the big play.
The play of the game.
71-yard touchdown run on 4th and about a quarter of a yard. Adam Cofield getting it done, and that ended up being the winning score for North Dakota State, because the Bison really got after Heide. Freshman quarterback Derek Tuska had a couple of big sacks after this as well.
Yeah, Cofield ends up with 86 yards rushing, 71 on that play that made the difference.
And our Nodak Insurance Company player of the game, Adam Cofield, is with Ryan Geller.
Yeah, he sure is, guys. Adam Cofield, man, you needed 2 inches. You decided 71 yards was a little better.
You know, I just trusted the O-line, and, you know, coach put it all on us, and, you know, we just went with it.
It was somewhat of a slow day for the running backs up until that point. Talk about that juice and the excitement of that play.
You know, the O-line, they like to create the juice in the group, so in the offense. So, you know, we just fed off of them, and, you know, that's what we went with.
What was going through your mind? Because, like I said, you needed just an inch or two, and it turned into something special.
You know, I trusted the O-line. You know, I figured I'd just get the first down, but, you know, I saw the hole open, and I just went.
When did you know you had it? We're watching it here on replay. They're trying to catch you from behind. When did you know you had it?
Right when he tipped my heels, and I felt that, and I was like, yep, I'm gone. So, you know, I thank God for the opportunity to be in that situation, and you know, I just want to keep improving.
I want to ask you before I let you go about that locker room in there. Had to be pretty special. What was it like?
You know, everybody's all riled up, and, you know, stuff. So, you know, everybody's you know, the brotherhood is just, it all connects. You know, right when the end of the game, you know that energy just keeps going and stuff. So, you know, the locker room was special, very special.
Our Nodak Insurance player of the football game, this guy, Adam Cofield. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Guys, we'll throw it back upstairs. You give me just a minute or two. We'll come back with Derek Tutsa. Let me go find him, and I'll bring him back. But
Good luck.
For now, we'll send it upstairs.
Thanks so much. And, you know, Matt Entz was talking about Adam Cofield and said, you know, he's so stone-faced. You can't ever tell what's going through this kid's mind. You saw it right there. You know, just kind of keeps an even keel. But, boy, when the Bison need a big run on short yardage, that guy delivers.
And when push came to shove, where did the Bison go with the ball? They ran behind Zach Johnson's side, and Volson's side with some tight end help, too. So keep that in the back of your mind, that when the Bison need a tough yard, they're looking on the right side of that offensive line.
All right, Ryan Gellner is now with Derek Tuska, the Warner, South Dakota native. Had a couple of big sacks on that last South Dakota State drive.
Yeah, he really did. That last drive, take us through it, because you were pinning your ears back.
Yeah, that's exactly the situation we wanted to be, where they had to throw the ball, and that's exactly what we wanted. And all of us up front got after him, and in the back half didn't allow him to throw the ball right away. So just able to pin our ears back and make some plays happen.
They were able to run the football on you. Pretty good running back on that side. But when they went to the pass game, you guys were able to get pressure, and I assume that's what you wanted all week.
Yeah, definitely. We knew they were going to run the ball. We didn't play very well stopping it, but I mean, we'll go over film on Monday and take care of that and move on. But we just got to enjoy this win right now.
Take us through that last series, because up until that point, I think statistic-wise, you had just one tackle. So number 91 was shut down most of the day, but man, when you turned it on, it was turn-on time. Take us through that last series.
Yeah, I didn't have a good start to the game, but right there we just gotta rush up front, and that's exactly what we did, and it's exactly what I wanted. So
the emotions in the locker room to get this one in front of your home state. You're a South Dakota kid. What's this like?
Oh, it means a lot. We wanted to win this. Every single week we want to go 1-0, and this game just means a little bit more. You got the Dakota marker and stuff like that, but feels good. A lot of emotion in the locker room.
Work's not done yet. Big game next week, and then they continue to fall after that. Just talk about this grind you're in right now.
Yeah, definitely. Next week's gonna be another tough one, so we got to learn from this film and just keep moving forward. Forget about it. We can't be really enjoying this win too long. Monday comes around, it's on to the next week. So,
all right, I appreciate your time, man. Good luck next week, and congratulations. Savor this one.
All right, thank you very much.
Guys, back upstairs.
All right, thanks so much, Ryan. And yeah, you got to feel good for a kid like Derek Tuska, his senior year, to have two big plays at the end like that to put the game away.
And the Bison held him out last week for the sole purpose of being ready and being 100%, and he was able to use that speed to get around the tackle a couple of times. And at one point, we thought he had the fumble, but he still ended up with the sack on that one play.
Let's take a look around the Missouri Valley. Some other scores today. Youngstown State is the opponent for North Dakota State next week. No problem with Western Illinois at home. So the Penguins will be ready to go.
Yeah, Western is not any good, but Youngstown is certainly Jekyll and Hyde. They are the Jekyll and Hyde team in the Valley this year, no question.
And they led South Dakota State for a majority of the game in Youngstown a few weeks ago. Northern Iowa picking up a win at Missouri State. South Dakota State will head there next week, 29-6 the final there. Illinois State taking care of business at home over Indiana State. And then Southern Illinois on the road, a 20-point lead at South Dakota. And the Salukis are kind of starting to creep into the playoff talk a little bit.
I'm a slow believer. I need to be more of a believer in that SIU team because the Salukis are playing very well. They're down in the Dakota Dome and beating the Coyotes right now. So I was a little slow to the Saluki party, but they're earning it.
Yeah, win against Youngstown State last week at home, an FBS win as well. So we'll see what happens with them. That is actually NDSU's last opponent of the season on the road down in Carbondale. We step aside one more time. We'll be back to wrap things up from here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium, where the Bison are still celebrating a 23-16 win. The final as we get set to wrap things up from here at Dana J. Dykhouse Stadium in Brookings. Brian, Sean, Lee Timmerman, thanks so much for joining us here today for this game. And I tell you what, LT, we knew it was going to be great. It was great. Up to it. And who knows, probably see these two teams again in December. We usually do. That's the way it goes, as it seems.
Yeah, last year was in the semifinals. Yeah.
So we'll see what happens. Coming up next week for North Dakota State, the Bison have another road trip, and this will be another tough one. Youngstown State always plays the Bison tough, and NDSU has won the last two times they've been there, but they both come down to the bitter end.
Yeah, and remember, too, this is the Valley Conference Game of the Week. It's the 1 week this year that we will not be able to televise that game for you. So as much as we would love to be able to go to Youngstown, we're not allowed to.
So ESPN Plus is your only option. There still will be a pregame show next week. Farmers Union Insurance Bison Football pregame show starts at 4 to get you ready for that game before you tune in to ESPN Plus for a 5 p.m. kickoff. The schedule looks like this for NDSU. Away, and then 2 home games against Western Illinois, a team that's really struggling as winless 0-8. And then South Dakota, who's down 20 right now at home to Southern Illinois, before wrapping up play at Southern Illinois in late November. After next week, at least on paper, again, Southern Illinois, South Dakota, scary enough offensively. You'd have to say your toughest games are behind you.
You certainly would believe that. You looked at the way the Bison started the conference schedule with those 2 back-to-back games, Illinois State, UNI. You go, wow, okay, how will they do there? Well, the Bison played really well, and now you have the back-to-back games this week and next week, where the 2 points, especially in that conference schedule, where you looked and you wondered, and the Bison now have it in front of them.
Well, thanks so much for joining us here today. It's been a lot of fun to bring this to you back throughout the state of North Dakota and the region as well. We will step aside next weekend. We'll be back on November 9th when Western Illinois comes to town as we get set for the stretch run of Missouri Valley Conference play. The Rock stays in Fargo. North Dakota State wins it 23-16. The Bison have won 29 straight games and are 8-0 on the season. For Lee Timmerman, Ryan Gellner, Kyle Emanuel, Bethul, and Alex Egan, I'm Ryan Shawn saying so long from Brookings. We'll see you in 2 weeks back in Fargo.